What is up, Eggy Wegg Nation? Welcome to the 13th episode of the podcast, 1-3. I'm here joined again by my pal Henry.
Hell yeah.
We have a pretty cool one. This is one I've been wanting to do for a while. The movie we're discussing today is Blade Runner, 1982.
Never heard of it.
This underrated classic that a lot of people never even heard of.
My
Blade
first Midley Scott.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First
Oh,
one.
shit.
Haven't seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Blade Runner now, but hadn't seen Alien. Just hadn't got around to it. Hadn't seen Gladiator. Gladiator was most likely going to be my first Midley movie, but
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we decided to do this, so because
Yeah,
the sequel's coming out in like a couple months. So.
Yeah. No, now that you mention it, yeah, I guess you're right. Well, this is a good one to start with. This is like the one I started with, I think. I may have seen Alien first.
I started at his peak.
Yeah,
so.
It's only downhill from here, apparently.
Yeah.
But,
I've heard good things about Alien, but
Yeah, Blade Runner is like widely considered like, his crown jewel in his like filmography. And, Alien is also very highly regarded. Gladiator too. I'm trying to think. He probably has a few others. Lately, according to some people, he's gone a bit off the rails lately with the new Napoleon movie and some other shit.
That looks shite.
Yeah.
The Napoleon fucking House of Gucci movie.
And
have you seen
the
House of Gucci movie? I haven't seen the movie. I've seen clips where it's like Jared Leto who's like doing like a Mamma Mia.
Oh yeah, his horrible fucking performance
like,
in that.
A boof.
Jared Leto is just an L-taking machine.
He is an L-taking machine. Oh, he's the villain in 2049. God.
I can't imagine.
Neither of us have seen 2049.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing a double feature for this, but we figured, well, this is just like each movie is kind of its own thing, and like it'd be too loaded, discussing both in one.
And especially because this was my first time watching Blade Runner.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen it like 3 times now, including this watch, so I was already kind of familiar with it. Yeah. So, also, I just wanted to mention that Ridley Scott in general has become like a huge. It's just like kind of a meme. His presence on social media and the way he treats journalists is just so hilarious. Anyways, that's all I wanted to add.
I love that. God, what was it? There was something like.
He basically like told historians to like. He basically told historians to like go fuck themselves over like getting mad over Napoleon.
There was 2 other things. One of them was him like saying all these millennials on their phones.
Yeah, real boomer
that was
talk.
Quite funny. And there was another one that was like, and he said that he said that in like a couple years ago because no one was watching his movies. And there was another one where he was like, where apparently people in France were saying Napoleon was shit. And so he said, of course they think that. The French are miserable.
Oh my god. Yeah, they got the right guy. They got the right guy to make the Napoleon movie.
Yep. Much better than Kubrick's Napoleon. Much better.
Probably better than this movie.
More epic, more funny.
Yeah, I was disappointed because when I watched this, I signed up for epic action, but instead I got slow, boring movie about rain. It was so boring.
Where was all the action?
I was trying not to fall asleep here. All I saw was rain.
So, I want to do like a reverse of last time. Where how I started off with some nice things, and then we went off.
Yes.
In the movie, I want to start off with just some things.
Some things you hate.
I wasn't huge, not hate, but but things that like I might just not care about when I watch it a second time. They're like they're not like deal. None of them are like deal breakers for me.
Yeah.
So these are like really, really like minor things. I thought it was dumb when they had to repeat the voice line at the end of the movie because of the guy being like, "Oh, she's gonna die. She's not gonna be around for very long."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because he said that like a minute earlier, like a minute.
yeah.
That was kind of dumb. I thought considering how like kind of dreamy the whole movie is, I thought like that the way it ended was very abrupt. But
Yeah,
maybe that was the point. It felt like it's kind of abrupt, and then the music it transitions into for like the credits. I thought was, I guess
it's very
maybe not
like
what I was hoping for, but
it's very like
um,
meditative, and then like the ending is kind of like very like
it's a
Hollywood.
very hard end. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Oh, you say Hollywood, but in the original cut of the movie, one of the few things I knew about Blade Runner was that the first cut was shite. Where they have like really bad voiceover of like
The
Harrison Ford
dubbing over it.
talking about sushi and shit.
Yeah.
And it apparently it ends with him and what's her face like riding off into the sunset.
That sounds fucking awful.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely prefer the final cuts ending. Yeah, and just some things here and there. Like I feel like there was a lot of like kind of not good dubbing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I don't know how much I can follow it for that. It's like because it's the early '80s, and it's like in a lot of sets where they're like very like well constructed, but I can't imagine they'd be very good for like soundproofing and stuff. And there's a lot of rain all the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
No, I
it's
see
just
what you
stuff like
mean.
that, and stuff, and like I think the other thing was just like I kind of wish I got more of it. It's kind of a crime that it's only 2 hours, in my opinion, because I could have sat there for like at least like three, if I'm being
The
honest.
when I tell you I
That's
was Coco Melon, like
Yeah,
holy shit.
kind of hinting like that
Yeah.
I absolutely adored this movie through saying that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
No, like
I could have watched it for like 3 hours, but um,
y-
yeah, and just especially because of how like meditative the tone is. I really
yeah, for
feel
sure.
like they could have had a bit more, especially and maybe like fleshed out some of the characters a bit more. Like I
Mm.
get what it's going for, but I do feel like, especially um, I forget her name. God damn it. The woman with the hair.
Chris, I think.
No. No,
No,
when
the
she
other
lets
one.
her hair down on the piano.
Oh, god damn it! Why do I forget her name? Hold on. Let me let me double check.
I really liked her. She was like in the first kind of hour.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Rachel.
she she was like, oh yeah, Rachel. So at first she was like easily like the bit I found like the most interesting at first.
Yeah.
Um, up until the villain kind of completely stole it at the end. But like up until then, and then she just kind of disappears for like the last bit of the movie after like Harrison Ford like kind of forces himself onto her, which is a bit weird. Um, she kind of just disappears until the very end, and I just thought that was a bit unsatisfying, I guess, because I really liked her character. I thought
Mm.
that my favorite scene in the movie, other than I don't know, my favorite scene in the movie, it was either like the like iconic like tears in the rain scene, because that was
Yeah,
obviously
that's my
incredible.
favorite.
Um, it was either that or that scene of her playing the piano. I really loved that scene. Um, that's about
Yeah,
all
that
I have
scene
to
goes hard
say.
as fuck.
Um,
Yeah, we'll circle back on the scene thing later because that's a problem some people have with this movie, and that's a problem that I originally had
yeah,
watching it the first
it's
two times. But like on this rewatch, I kind of like viewed it a bit differently,
yeah,
and
it's. I've actually been thinking about it, and the thing is, it is like a kind of. It's a very unfortunate Hollywood trope that I mean you don't see it
yeah,
anymore for obvious reasons, but it's also in. I know you haven't seen this. It's also in Rocky, and it's like particularly kind of bad in that movie.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love Rocky. I think it's a great movie, but that scene does take me out of it a bit. Um, Especially when Rocky's like he's like the underdog you want to root for. He's not supposed to really. He's not supposed to be like morally grey or whatever.
Yeah,
He's like
right.
you wanna root for him. Whereas, to be fair, in Blade Runner, like the main character isn't exactly like he's not the best guy. You
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
know?
All a lot
And
of the characters in this
it's
movie
not
are.
egregious. It's not egregious like a Do the Right Thing or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess like I'll just like jump into like summarizing this movie, or at least the plot. The
Mm.
plot's really not that important. Um, but like just so we have like a general outline here. Basically, this guy. First off, the setting: Earth is like fucked. Climate's fucked. Humans have like traveled to space and have colonized like other planets. And Earth is like essentially like a climate hell. And there's this guy called Deckard, and his job is to like he's a police officer, and his job is to like catch and kill replicants who are basically um, like these robots humanity have designed to like basically serve them and like help them out on other planets. With the sole, catch here being that well, the replicants are debatably just as human as the humans who designed them in the sense that like they can like they have the same amount of intelligence. They're actually like physically even superior, and they can even like develop their own emotions. And that's one of the key themes about Blade Runner, and like the thing fueling a lot of like the character arcs is like are the replicants, should we like consider them human? What does it mean to be human? All that stuff, and that stuff is like explored a lot in sci-fi, especially nowadays. Um, it's sort of less common to see it tackled in this way, I feel, um,
Mm.
and to have these questions so like prominent in like a high budget movie that's supposed to be like this action movie, right? But it's this like
Yeah.
instead it's like this meditative like art, basically like art house uh, type deal, which yeah, it's like a really cool subversion of like expectations. I think like the only similar example I can think of is like with what Apocalypse Now did.
I instantly thought of Apocalypse Now when I
Yeah.
saw the opening. It like
Mhm.
hit me in the way in like a way that I haven't felt since watching that movie.
Yeah. No, the way like just like the atmosphere, uh, the way like the visuals, which we'll get to in a bit. Just oh my god, this movie has like some of the best visuals I've like ever seen. They're so good.
The
Um,
the craft of the movie is just absolutely. If you noticed, all my except for like the bit where I thought, except for like my two little gripes with like the ending,
yeah,
all my complaints with it were like screenplay related and also just wanting more of it.
yeah,
Um,
right.
I say that because like the craft of like the entire film is just it's absolutely immaculate.
So incredible.
It is ridiculous. Every shot is one of the best shots I've like seen. The lighting is
Yeah,
ridiculously good.
I don't mind I don't mind the length, but like I agree. Like with these visuals, dude, you could have fucking 5 hours of this shit. Honestly,
Oh my
like it's
god.
fucking,
The
it
visuals,
is
the
incredible.
atmosphere, the sound design was all great. The atmosphere, oh my god. Oh my god. At least top 5 soundtrack
Oh yeah,
for any
probably.
movie. Like I only just watched it for the first time today. But that's got to be like
Oh
one
my
of the
god,
best soundtracks of any movie. It's up there with like Vertigo and like Once Upon a Time in the West
the
for
way
me. It's
yeah
just it is just unbelievable.
the way the lighting like and the rain like evokes this atmosphere, and the way the soundtrack's kind of like spacey and like psychedelic. It kind of reminded me of like a Wong Kar Y movie
Yeah,
almost.
I was thinking in the movie around the point where he's kind of chasing that one replicant with the snake and trying to like gun her down. I was thinking I was thinking "Tro- it'd be really cool if One Kar Wai did a Blade Runner
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
That'd
exactly.
be
I would.
dope. Not even a film where it's like about like action or shooting or whatever. Just a film set in that universe would be incredible.
It would be fucking awesome. I think this is
Mm.
like the closest we're ever gonna get to something like that. I don't know if
Yeah.
Ridley Scott was like directly inspired by Wong Kar Wai, but it was just like a
This was
cool
like
little
way
comparison.
before. This was
Oh,
before any of his stuff.
oh yeah, that's true. Because Chungking and like his other films are more like '90s, right?
Yeah. Even like his earlier films are like late 80s.
Okay.
So this would have been like before he was like doing any of that stuff.
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
Mm.
Yeah.
It might have inspired him, if anything. Um,
Yeah, potentially.
yeah, I love how the entire like world is kind of. I know it's like set in Los Angeles, but it's kind of like a hodgepodge of like a bunch of different um like nationalities kind of
Yeah.
combined. And
Yeah,
to
for
be fair,
sure.
that is kind of like, you know, ignoring the whole dystopian stuff, like ignoring that bit. That is kind of how the world is like heading, or at least like
Yeah.
a lot of like popular like inter international hubs like Los Angeles are heading. Where
It's more
it's
multicultural.
at some point in you know like maybe a couple hundred years or whatever, it is just going to be one just massive
Yeah.
melting pot of like every nationality and like culture.
And we'll give it few more 100 years. Okay, we'll see how the climate is. Probably won't be probably won't be too great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, in that way, like the movie's like still really relevant. Um, like I
Mm.
don't know, like the technical like techniques they like like employed to like make the movie look like this, bro. Holy shit! Like you would not guess that this shit was made in 1982. I'll say that
Yeah.
much.
It's really funny that it's set in 2019.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
When I heard this is so dumb. I hate that I thought this because of my like stupid brain rot brain. But I immediately thought, oh, it's set in 2019. Does Deckard know about Big Chungus?
God damn it. When that shit happens in like science fiction movies, it always reminds me of like this will be
It's really
SpongeBob in
funny.
2013.
Yeah. There's a really funny one that I love where, and it's like really dumb. Where for some reason in like some of like in like the first like few Mega Man games, like I think at least in Mega Man 2, and obviously that's like late 80s. Yeah, late 80s. Like they put the date. It's set in the future, and they put the date at as 200X.
Oh my,
Not even 20XX, 200X.
that's fucking
Like
amazing.
they were like, you know, they were more confident, but you know, not quite
But
enough to give an
not
actual
enough.
year. You know, I just find that so funny.
That's
Like, you
the
know,
thing.
it's set
Like
in the 2000s, but like not past that. You know.
you can't like the thing is like obviously like you can't really fault the filmmakers for it because like obviously they're not trying to legitimately like make a prediction as to like what the world
Yeah,
will look like in 2019. It's just like okay, we need to pick a random futuristic date. Let's just go like 50 years ahead in the future or
yeah,
something. Like,
yeah. Like in 25 years, we're going to be laughing at Blade Runner 2049. So
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
it's funny though.
It's just a thing that's fun to make fun of with hindsight. And
Yeah.
knowing that in 2019 we were nowhere close to this, we were fucking laughing at whatever was funny in 2019. Somebody touched
Yeah,
my spaghetti.
but just the whole like obviously the sets are amazing and all the world building was
It is
incredible.
so
I love how even though a lot of it feels kind of intentionally kind of feel it's very dark, kind of feels a bit maze like you could just easily get lost in
yeah.
it. But at the same time they're still clever about it. When the second how both times like characters enter, I think that one start to enter that one like the big building that you know they go into at the end with the
Yeah,
shootout
yeah,
and where like the replicants are and like the toys whatever they are and
yeah,
um like they're both like times they're established, like the time that that building's established and also the time where Deckard shows up.
mhm.
It shows that blimp with like the Asian lady
Yeah.
through like the holes in the roof both times to just
Yeah.
show okay we're here now.
And those
And
like advertisements on the blimps telling people to
mm,
like evacuate from Earth and shit like that. It's just
yeah,
like cool world building.
that's sick.
It's really like subtle the way they like inform the viewer about this world without like doing a Lord Southland dump in the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
Fucking hell.
They like it's very subtle. A lot of shit in this movie. There's like barely like there's dialogue obviously, but it's very like it's very sparse. Um, a lot of this is like a prime example of
Yeah.
like a good example of like showing and not telling much like in cinema, both with like the world building and also like the way the characters interact, and like the characters aren't always like voicing their thoughts or like how their psychology, but like you can still like infer like what their character arcs are and like what they're going
Mm.
through. It's just like yeah, it's really the screenplay is really subtle, but like super effective in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I don't. Sure, all the performances I thought were fantastic. I'll have to say, I don't think he was bad, but my least favorite was Harrison Ford. Maybe because his
Yeah,
character is more restrained. But
fair enough.
I didn't really feel much with his character. But obviously, the other performances like are incredible, especially the guy who plays the villain. And
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying the villain's name because it's too embarrassing.
Roy Batty?
Yeah. You know what that means in the UK, right?
No.
Batty. Oh, it means kind of two things. It means like anus, and it
Oh
means also and
no.
it's and also means like homosexual.
Well, now, now I wish you didn't fucking tell me that. God fucking damn it. God
That's why
fucking damn it.
I was gonna mention.
I was confused.
I'm glad they didn't keep repeating his name throughout the movie.
Now when I think about it, I'm just gonna think about gay assholes now. That's fucking that's fucking great. God damn
I
it.
don't think that it originates from the UK, but it's definitely a thing here.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a thing there because I've never heard that terminology before
I
in my
have a
life.
lot.
God damn
I have
it.
a lot.
Yeah, gay asshole is a great character though. He's like my favorite character in the movie, probably.
His acting's incredible though.
Oh my god, dude! Like some of
Hell no.
those,
The
there's so many
way,
standout scenes.
oh my god, I was like soy facing at the way they like he was like taken out in the end. How basically I was like kind of weird. I was like, okay, he's being a bit campy. This is like I don't know if this works for me.
Yeah,
And then it ended with his speech, and it was like quite surprisingly short. I
yeah.
mean, it was great. It was surprisingly short considering how much had been built up. And then he just says, "Time to die," and then just fucking
Yeah,
tilts his
it's so
head
fucking
down, and
incredible.
you instantly realize what's happened, and it's like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
and then like the
incredible,
cut to like,
incredible.
and then like the cut to like the doves flying in the air. It's like holy shit,
Jesus.
and like the slow mo and the music. Oh my god,
He's a
that's like
world
my favorite
class
scene.
hater.
Yeah, pretty much.
He spent his final hours like
Hating,
trolling.
pretty much. He's like, oh, I'm gonna die. Might as well
Yeah.
prank this
And I
dumbass.
love oh my god, I loved that scene where he like kills I forgot his name, but the actor Joe Turkel, who's amazing.
Oh
He
yeah,
kills him. I love Joe Turkel. He's in The Shining. And he was amazing in that, and he's in Paths of Glory as well. He's incredible in everything I've seen him in.
dude, I just like made that connection now. Like I knew he looked familiar, but I
Yeah.
didn't actually
Oh,
look at
he's
his like
so good.
yeah, he's incredible in this.
Yeah, it's crazy how like old Joe Turkel in like I say old, but like he only died like a couple years ago. But like old Joe Turkel in The Shining and Blade Runner, he's like so intimidating, but and then like with his deep voice, and then in Past the Glory, he's like all baby face. He's like, I don't want to die.
Is he one of the
Yeah, he's one of the three that
who gets executed?
yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't remember that. I'm
Mm.
gonna have to rewatch that at some point. Yeah, he's not more intimidating than Roy Batty in this one though, that's for sure.
No, no.
That shit. That's also another standout scene for me when he kills him and like gouges his eyes out. It's so like visceral.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think that thing you mentioned about like Harrison Ford's acting, um, that's like another thing a lot of people talk about, and I can see why people would have an issue with it. I think like comparatively to some of the other performances in this movie, it like is weaker, but I give it some leeway, especially since like there's that whole theory of like, oh, Deckard maybe is a replicant and like he's like trying
Oh
to come to
yeah, yeah.
terms with like
I caught on to that.
yeah, and that's like another whole debate. Like, is he a replicant? Like, is he like trying to like grapple with the fact that like he's like developing human emotions, or that like his memories are fabricated, shit like that.
Mm,
So his performance is a bit more stoic. That's a cool lens to view it through if you want to like give it more leeway.
yeah.
Personally, like I'm still not quite sure uh, what I believe in, but I just think like it's a cool theory to like keep in mind when analyzing his performance.
Mm.
But yeah, there's a lot of cool like even like beyond just like the cinematography and stuff. There's like just like I found like a lot of cool symbolism with like imagery in this film, specifically with like eyes. Like if the film opens up with like I think it's
The
Deckard's
eye with
eye,
the
yeah, with a
the
fire in it,
fire and the
and like
reflection.
the replicants when they go after somebody, like if like they always go for the eyes, like when they're killing someone, like like when I forget his name, but the replicant with like the mustache and the bald head, he tried
Yeah,
gouging Decker's eyes out, and then when Roy Batty like goes and kills Tyrell, he obviously like puts his thumbs in his eyes and there's fucking blood flying everywhere. And considering like that Blade Runner is about like what makes us human and even like the soul, and how a lot of people consider eyes like the gateways to the soul, and how Blade Runner is about like empathy and like the whole thing about
yeah,
seeing what other people see, like eyes serve as like the literal like representation of that, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
um the doves,
Considering how like built up the villain was, like as a villain to me, through people
yeah,
being like, oh, he's like so like epic and shit. I was surprised by how like kind of not villainous he was, and how much
yeah, yeah,
I kind of liked him. Killing
for
Joe
sure,
Turkel, not cool. Even though he's also
but
not
he's
the best
sympathetic.
character, but he's
Because
very sympathetic. Yeah,
yeah, because their
I love
situation is
how
like
I love how he gives um Deckard like time to run.
yeah,
He's like, "Oh yeah, you better run away. I'm gonna shoot you," to give him time to like mourn Pris, who
yeah,
literally just
exactly,
got murdered.
yeah. No, like it's hard to really be mad at the replicants in this film because like their situation is like really like existentially fucking horrifying when you
Yeah.
think about it. Not saying that like killing people is like awesome or like a good way to handle it, but like you can get like why they're angry and like their
Mm.
despair at their situation. Like when you're given like human emotions and like human intellect, but with the lifespan of like a fucking I don't know, like an ant. I don't know how long ants live, but I'm just picking a random animal for comparison.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, it would be frustrating. So I think the way like again, just like the questions the movie's asking, like in regards to that and like humanity, are just like yeah, really interesting to think
Yeah.
about because the way the movie's structured and the way the characters are written, it like basically like forces you to like confront that basically and what your views are. Like, oh, is Deckard like a good person for doing this? Um, like, if you're siding with him, are you saying that these people aren't human? Like, what is your definition of
Yeah.
of that? So
I
yeah,
find it very interesting how the reason why they're killed off after only like 4 years or whatever is because of the fact that because is to stop them from like having like human emotions and shit.
yeah, pretty much. They're like
Yeah,
cucking them before they can like
yeah.
actually like live. It's pretty
But
fucking
it's kind of like a it's kind of like a weird fear thing where
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
oh, we don't, it's like, we made these like people to like do stuff for us and shit. It's like, oh, we don't want them to potentially like turn on us after
yeah,
like
right,
treating them like shit and
yeah,
putting them
yeah,
in exile. And it's like it's kind of so fucked.
yeah. Like it's definitely like put into place as like a safety measure, and I kind of wonder, and you kind of makes you wonder like the stuff Tyrell was saying about like him not being able to expand their lifespan if he was just like bullshitting out of like fear or like humanity's like interest or some shit like that. So there's a lot of like different ways to interpret it.
Yeah.
I think the imagery with the doves at the end is really cool, considering like a lot of the animals in the like almost all the animals in the movie are like artificial, but like for some reason Roy like places a lot of like significance on this dove, and like he holds on to it till like the very end, and then only when he dies, um, does the dove like fly away. So I don't know if that was the movie's way of saying like it tried like it made Roy hold on to a real dove to like try to represent that
Yeah.
like Roy's feelings are like valid, or like he's also like human in a way.
Yeah, I was actually thinking during that scene, like, oh, is that dove real? Because every animal that we'd seen,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the owl and the snake, they said, oh yeah, they're not real animals. They're just
yeah. All
like
the animals are
artificial.
dead.
Damn.
They all
No,
dead,
no
bro.
kitty cats. What?
No big flopper in this in this universe. Oh my god.
Damn. Drop. Maybe better universe then. Maybe better universe. I'm sick of Big Flopper. He
I mean,
sucks.
like he's gonna die any moment, anyways, because he's
He's so
fat.
fat. He's
He's
so
so big
fat
and
and
fat.
stupid. He's
They
gonna
need to
die.
stop feeding him. Get him
They
on a
need
treadmill.
to, you d- they probably shouldn't be keeping him in a house, but what can you do? That's why he's so fucking fat.
You were right when you
Listen,
said.
we're not talking about Blade Runner.
Oh, what? Yeah, we're going a bit
I
off
love,
topic
I
here.
love, I love that. Like how existentially terrifying that idea of like finding out that all your memories are from like someone else or just implanting in you, and it turns out you're not human.
Yeah,
You never have been, and you're probably gonna like die in a couple years. That is like
yeah. It's all like
terrifying.
I
And
think the way it's handled with like Rachel's character is really good,
yeah,
because like a lot of her like inner turmoil is also like implied, or like you kind of have to read between the lines. Like she never does like a big monologue talking about detailing like her internal struggle. You just kind of like know.
yeah, yeah. And it's that kind of idea where it's like, even though it's not her memories, it's not her memories, and it's just the memories of like Tyrell's niece. Does that? I don't know how to phrase. I don't know how to phrase this. God, I had it in my head a second ago.
There's like still that possibility they can make like new memories.
No.
So
Does that make them? Does that make those memories any less like hers?
yeah, yeah,
Like the whole thing of like um the whole thing where it's like after 7 year every like 7 years you have like completely new like cells for your
yeah,
body.
exactly.
You're like a completely new person except for like a little bit of the brain. So like so like possibly even though those memories technically aren't hers and she shares them like all those exact memories with someone else, d- don't- does that necessarily mean that she didn't live them, even
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's not the exact body?
No, that's a fair point. Yeah, even if she like didn't physically like experience it, it's like kind
Hmm.
of like up for debate.
Yeah.
And if you don't think she's human because of that, you're basically saying like our like physical experience of our memories is like what makes us human. But the thing is
Yeah.
like even then like she's still able to like experience new things and like gain new memories. Um even if they will like be like washed away eventually.
Mm.
So yeah, no, there's like a lot of cool stuff to analyze with the like screenplay in this movie.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I also like all the imagery with like the origami and like
Okay, so can
the
you
paper cutouts.
explain what that means? The origami and like the unicorn, and because
I haven't like
I didn't quite clock
I
what
didn't like
the
I didn't look it
meaning of
up,
that was. Okay.
but like just like my own interpretation, I'm pretty sure like the origami is just like this sort of like literal symbol, like the replicants, basically, like this thing that like human beings are like constructing and like propping up, pretty much. But
Okay.
I don't actually know what the unicorn represents. It's just like a cool little atmospheric thing during the not the piano scene, but like a scene
Yeah.
before that. I'm not sure what it represents, but yeah, it just looks
Well,
fucking
I
cool.
don't. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it is definitely significant that they find the origami unicorn at the end. It's like
Hmm.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's like it's kind of like a it's in his like brain. It's like a fantasy. It's like the whole
Yeah.
unicorn, and then
I mean, the
someone
imagery is
someone
there. Like,
creates it. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but just
no, I get it. There's
it's
like
got
the
me
imagery is
thinking, which
present
is
at
good.
the yeah, the imagery is present at the beginning of the movie, and it's cool how it, like, ties back, even if I don't know what the fuck it means.
Yeah. More like Pooh Runner.
Poop runner.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm like glad this movie wasn't like a like it wasn't like a smash hit or anything when it came out, but like it didn't
Yeah.
flop
I mean,
either.
the cut that released was like shit, apparently. So,
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't think I'm gonna
also,
watch it.
it came out in like the 80s, and like all people back then were just particularly lame for some reason. Like, where they fucking hated The Shining and they hated The Thing for some reason
They just
because it
didn't
was
like
because it wasn't epic, wholesome Reagan 100s, whatever.
I think people actually got like flown into like a bizarre world in the 80s where like all good movies were considered bad and all bad movies
Oh,
were considered masterpieces.
yeah. Fucking Driving Miss Daisy, fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Oh, stupid, man. It gave us, you know what? At least we got Amadeus.
Yeah, that's the only thing like they got right.
Amadeus, Amadeus.
Yeah. That's like one of the only W's they took that
The
decade.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah. The entire decade took.
Shite decade.
We got Amadeus, we got Shining, we got this movie.
Yeah, all the I think we've talked about this before. All the best movies from the 80s don't feel like they're from the 80s.
Yeah, like this doesn't feel like it's from the 80s at all.
No.
It feels like it still
It
feels like
feels
super fresh now.
pretty ahead of its time. In
Not
fact,
for
like
sure.
if it was from the 80s, then the soundtrack would have been like a really terrible, disgusting synth, and it
Yeah,
would have been, and there would have been like tons of like fog everywhere, and it makes it all grainy. I know there's some fog in there. You know what I mean, though.
yeah.
I don't know how to
Now the
say
thing
it.
is, like,
And there's like loads of bloom, and it's really boring.
there are a lot of synths in the soundtrack. They're just like
But it's
they
like
just don't
good.
sound shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like
It's,
that campy, like cheesy. Like I don't know how to really describe it, but like this really like cheap sounding synthesizer that just like sounds really flat and horrible.
yeah. I was watching a movie few days ago called The Long Good Friday, and it was released in 1980, and it's like a mob movie set in the UK, and it's like it feels exactly like a 70s movie, but you can tell it's from the 80s because because some of the music just uses this fucking horrible
Oh
sounding
no.
like synth, and it's like some of the music's great, but some of the music is does not hit.
I always associate that type of like soundtrack with like horror movies specifically.
Oh
But
yeah,
now that
yeah.
you mention it, like I can, yeah, I'm thinking of a
It's a
few right now with that
yeah,
type of vibe going on.
yeah. All right, so Blade Runner, awesome movie. Wow, what a shocker. Wow. Wow. 9 out of 10 for now. Very high 9 for now.
Based,
Awesome.
I'm
Top
giving it.
11 15 out of 10 for the soundtrack though.
That shit. Oh my god, that shit made my.
Oh my god,
Oh my god,
it's
bro.
ridiculous. I was
Yeah.
literally just like, there was a point where I was kind of just like, I kind of found it funny. Like during that piano scene, I was like, honestly, kind of finding it kind of funny, just how ridiculously good the soundtrack is. It was like, really, really,
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus.
No, it's like one of those things that like almost like piss you off.
Yeah,
It's
it's like,
just
how
so
the?
good. Yeah, the sax and shit. Oh my god,
Oh my god. Yeah,
the music.
some of the soundtrack reminded me of I know we're going on. I was about to say like my rating, my final thoughts, but I've actually the soundtrack reminded me a bit of Brazil, which came after this, a few years after, but and it kind of hit us at like a sweet spot for me that
Mm,
the Brazil soundtrack hits. Although the Brazil soundtrack is a lot more kind of quirky and funny.
it's a bit goofed
It's
up.
not as it's very dreamy, but it's not meditative, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. No, the soundtrack here is more like it's a bit more like spacey and like more a
Mm,
bit more drawn out and
yeah,
ambient.
that's incredible. Um, yeah. Okay, yeah, but yeah, yeah. I did say my rating, high 9. Awesome.
My rating, 10 out of 10, baby. Let's go. Good job, Midley.
No,
Good job, Midley. You did it.
no.
You did it, you old geezer. You
Yeah.
old son of a bitch. Go to the
Bruh.
already, you old,
Whoa!
you old ass motherfucker.
No, don't
Don't even
say
make,
that.
don't even make good
That's
movies anymore.
bad. I'm cutting that out. That's legitimately horrible. What the fuck? That's evil. Fuck. We're not.
That's
We're
what
not. We're not.
happens.
We're not talking about Rosemary's Baby. Calm down.
That's what happens when you make Napoleon. This is what
If we were
happens when you
talking
diss
about
the historian
if we were talking
community.
about Rosemary's Baby, it was like Roman Polanski, please die,
Or Lars.
or that's more of a grey area.
I'd joke about it, but I
That's
don't
more
think
of a
I mean
grey
it.
area. He's not. He's not irredeemable. He's just shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
uh,
He's going through his Chris Chan arc right now.
Eggy Wegg out.
Eggy Wegg, roll out.
Eggy Wegg out. All right. Future Henry here. I rewatched Blade Runner like 2 days after we recorded the video. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Awesome, incredible. Been thinking about it ever since. And I also watched 2049. Pretty incredible. Don't like it as much as the original, but like I'd give that like a light 9. Yeah, light 9.